Hello there, I'm here today from Hackney Libraries to tell you a story about food. What have you eaten today? For breakfast I had a bowl of cereal, but maybe you had toast with jam. At lunchtime I had a ham sandwich. Perhaps you had a salad or some pasta. This evening I will have rice with mixed vegetables. Maybe you'll have a roast meal or some fish and chips. There's just so many choices. How do you feel about the food you eat? Do you enjoy it? Or is there always room for pudding? Are you sitting comfortably? If you're comfortable, give me a big thumbs up. Great, I'm glad you're ready for our story. But I tell you what, before we get started, all of this talk of food is making me hungry. In a moment, pause the video, sort yourself a snack, or maybe something to drink. Since the end of the Second World War, Hackney has welcomed people from all around the world who have brought with them their own cultures and tastes. Be it eel pie and mash or a tarly, fried chicken or fried noodles, today Hackney is proudly a diverse and vibrant place to live. Food matters. From the artisan produce on Broadway Market to Tesco Superstore on Morning Lane, you'll find glorious food all over the borough.
You could hear the offbeats pound as they raced across the ground, and the clatter of the wheels as they spun round and round. And he galloped into Market Street, his badge upon his chest. His name was Ernie, and he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. Now Ernie loved a widow, a lady known as Sue. She lived all alone in Lily Lane at number 22. They said she was too good for him, she was haughty, proud and chic. But Ernie got his cocoa there 3 times every week. They called him Ernie. Ernie! And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Honey, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
I love food. Not just eating it, but the memories food can bring back from my past. And I have some food to talk to you about today. This is a French stick. When I was a little boy, my granddad would come and visit during the school holidays. Mum would put on wonderful spreads of food, including French bread. Grandad would chop the end off a French stick, hollow it out and fill it with butter or margarine and call it a cream horn. To this day, I can't look at French bread without remembering him and the times I spent with my family as a child. This is a chew bar. Now, as a teenager, on Friday afternoons after school, I would go to the ice cream van and fill my pockets with these sweets. Then, as I walked home, I would rip the wrappers off, roll them into balls, and put the entire bar into my mouth. It was probably terrible for my teeth, but food heaven for a teenager. The last thing I have to show to you are cinnamon sticks. Now, this is more of a smell thing than a taste thing for me. Cinnamon is all about Christmas for me. Whenever I smell cinnamon, I think about putting up a Christmas tree with my daughter and her excitement about what is to come in the month of Advent. Are there any foods that bring back special memories for you? In a moment, pause the video and think about the foods that bring back memories from your past. Long ago, a traveller was making his way through the mountains. He had climbed up into the mountains and followed the mountain path until he reached a snow-covered mountain village. Can you travel with him? Of course you can. You don't even need to leave your chair. So as he climbs into the mountains, reach up and climb with him. And as he follows the path, swing your arms like you're a soldier. And when he reaches the village, wrap your arms around yourself as if you're cold. Are you ready? Let's try that together. He had climbed into the mountains. Can you climb with me? He had followed the mountain path. Swing your arms like you're a soldier. Until he came to the snow-covered mountain village. Wrap your arms and show me you're cold. Well done. When he reached the village, the traveller found that he was very tired and very hungry, but no one would share their food. The people of this village have forgotten how to share, thought the traveller. He decided to remind them. The traveller went into the village square and built a fire. Once the flames were flickering and the smoke was billowing from his fire, he went down to the river, filled his pot with water, returned it to the flames. The villagers watched all of this from inside their houses with keen interest, peeking through the gaps in their doors and the cracks in their shutters. Can you watch too? So hold up your shutters in front of you. That's it. Hold up your hands and face them towards you like this. Now hide behind your shutters and peek out and hide again. And peek under and hide again. And peek out and hide again. Thank you very much for joining in with our story. But none in the village were more interested in what was going on than a little girl. She was fascinated by what the traveller was up to. But when she asked her father and her mother and her brother, they simply would not tell her. Her father said, "Mind your own business." And her mother said, "Oh, don't be so nosy." And her brother went as far as to say, "Don't you know, being curious is very dangerous." But the little girl wasn't quite so sure about that. And so, when no one was watching, she crept out of the house. Shh. She tiptoed across the village into the square and asked the traveller, "What are you doing?" And the traveller told the girl, "Why? I'm making stone soup." We are going to make some stone soup today, and I am going to wear my chef's hat to do it. But you don't have to change your clothes. We are going to use a cooking pot and 3 very round, very smooth stones. Take your fingers and draw a big circle in front of you. That's right, draw a big circle in front of you. Now, make that circle into the top of your cooking pot and put your 3 stones into the pot before taking your wooden spoon and giving it a stir. Should we do that together? So make a cooking pot using your fingers and put the stones that we'll be using into that pot. Careful that the water doesn't come out as we stir our pot. As the traveller did this, people from the village crept out of their houses, fascinated by what was going on. Suddenly the traveller stopped. If only we had carrots for sweetness, or salt and pepper for seasoning. At the back of the crowd, a voice called, "Why, I have carrots growing in my garden. I will fetch them for you." Another voice said, "Oh, I've got salt and pepper indoors. I'll just go and get it." And before they knew what was happening, the villagers were running to and fro to fetch delicious ingredients for the soup. What would you put into the stone soup? In a moment, pause the video and think what you would add. Have you decided what you'd put into the soup? Well done. Well, the traveller has already decided that there's going to be carrot and pepper going into our soup. But first we have to do our preparation work. So show me your chopping boards. That's right, hold out your hands and show me your chopping boards. Now show me your knife as we go chop, 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 scoop, drop, stir, stir and taste. Can you do that with me? Of course you can. So show me the chopping board, show me the knife as we go chop, 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 scoop and drop, stir, stir, and it still needed carrot. And so in carrot went. They went chop, 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 scoop and drop, stir, stir, and it still needed pepper. And so in went the pepper. Chop, 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 scoop and drop, stir, stir, and what did you decide should go into the stone soup? I thought that I'd put in potato or onion, but perhaps you thought of something different. Anyhow, let's put our ingredients into the soup. After 3, do the actions with me. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Chop, 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 scoop and drop, stir, stir, and it tasted perfect. But that wasn't the only thing that was perfect. Soon the tasting of soup became a feast as the villagers returned with all kinds of other wonderful foods to share. The feast became a festival as eating turned to dancing late into the night. The next day, the traveller left the village. Everybody turned up to wave goodbye. And as he returned to that path that led down out of the mountains, it was whispered by more than one that he'd left the village richer, for he had reminded them about sharing. But perhaps the broadest smile belonged to the little girl. You see, being curious isn't always dangerous. Being curious can be wonderful.